Welcome back. On today's Dungeon Design Drive-By, we take a look at Act 3 of a one-shot I like to call Journey to the Infernal Plane. I'm Mark William, and you're watching By DND. Our brave adventurers teleport through the portal. Captain Birga, Gutrot the Dwarf, Violet the Flamboyant Tiefling, and Herbie the Halfling. They appear on the broken city streets of a burning hellish village. It's hot, it smells rotten. The air is nothing but thick smoke and black ash. Diseased rats, crows, cockroaches, fleas, and mosquitoes infest the streets. They hover over rotten food and the flesh of dead animals and decaying bodies. Just ahead, you see a hanging cage made of rusted iron surrounded by a large mob of unloving hellspawn. Trapped inside the cage is a weary, panic-stricken man wearing a dirty straw hat. However, its dull yellow hue glows through the thick blankets of smoke. Wildly, the man kicks at the ghoulish hands that claw towards him. Then he spots you and cries, Please, you must save me. Quickly now, don't leave me here to die." At last, the heroes have made it to the Infernal Plane. If you recall, they have traveled through an ancient gate, they have battled Sir Huxton the Gallant and Dross the Wicked, and they have met the Herald, who speaks for Emperor Mephistar II, who rules the Infernal Plane. He warned them not to keep going, but as heroes do, they keep going, pressing forward to explore. So they've made it to this hellish village. I call it the Cursed Crossroads. So the way I've designed the board is that there's fires everywhere, scattered debris, broken down houses, burning animals, and all that type of thing to really set the image that they're in this new world. And when they do get here, I have all the players roll a Constitution saving throw because it is so hot. And let's just say a saving throw of DC 15. If they pass it, their bodies acclimatize to the heat and they don't take any damage, whereas if they fail, they'll take damage, and I might have them make more rolls until they finally acclimatize to the heat. It's just a way to signal to the players that this is not going to be easy, this is a dangerous place. So there's not much to find here. In the first two boards, I give the characters lots of different extra items to kind of boost them up, but now that they're here in this desolate, dangerous place, there's not going to be much to find on this board. And the idea is that they're hopefully going to be drawn to the man who's in the cage who's desperately crying for their help. So the enemies here are undead husks, similar to what they fought before. And also, I like to add these gargoyles in here or some other flying creature type as a throwback to the stone gargoyles that were on the first board. As sort of like a world building thing. That was a hint of the creatures to come, and now they're here, and this will become a combat encounter. So hopefully the players will overcome these undead husks, this terrible environment, and rescue the man who is in the hanging cage, which I'll talk about next. Assuming the players wish to save the person who's died in the hanging cage, the combat will ensue. So, and if the players are stalling, I would roll initiative and get it going. If they're trying to hide or do whatever they want, maybe give them a few brief moments to maybe come up with a strategy. But other than that, it should basically be an immediate combat encounter. So the players will battle the host of undead, the stone gargoyles, or the flying creatures, whichever you like to choose. And I threw out a bunch of different models here, but you put as many as you think the characters can handle. And as the players start defeating all the undead husks, this is when they should be drawn towards the man in the cage, and he will hopefully convince them to free him. So we're removing these guys. Great job, everyone's fighting. Undead husks are going down. And now our players are left in this hellscape with really their only thread or their only clue as to what to do next. As the players approach this, the man with his yellow straw hat, looking terrible, will speak to them, plead with them to free him from the cage, don't let him die. At this point, you can give them information about who he is. I've named him Cain, and he will basically tell the players or even discuss with them, if you don't free me, you're not going to escape the Cursed Crossroads. You need me. I will be able to help you in this world that you've now just miraculously transported into, and this should convince the players to free him. So however they free them, I would say that to get into the cage, a strength check of some kind, or some sort of check to free him from the cage. In the group I played with, something happened, a spell was cast, I can't quite recall, but this was actually knocked over, and I rolled damage for the man in the cage, and he happened to live, and the players were able to then still make the check, free him from the cage, and basically they're going to have this man, Cain, who is hopefully going to relay information to the group. He acts as a guide character for them. And before I go on, if the players do happen to kill him or ignore him or not bother with him or distrust him or any of that sort, you will just move on. But I'll get to the end of the map in a second, but you will just move on. You have to just let it go, but hopefully they'll free him because they're good heroes. And so when Cain comes out, he's basically their guide, telling them where they are. They're in Avernus, and it's ruled by Emperor Mephistar II. He can start filling in some of the gaps from what the players have learned so far. He's actually part of a rebel group that's fighting against the Emperor, who's been oppressing like the last remnants of the people of this world. And a key thing for him is that from beneath the straw hat, he is going to have a map of the world. So at this point, the players are going to receive this map of the Infernal Plane, and I would pass this out to players so that they get a sense of what's going on. And basically, they're around here. I've kind of invented the Cursed Crossroads. I got this map, and that's why I got this whole idea for the whole journey into the Infernal Plane in the first place. The map really helped me develop all these ideas, but I put the Cursed Crossroads right over here and really away from the rest of the world so that the players feel like they're on the edges. And in a desperate situation, Emperor Mephistar sends people to the Cursed Crossroads who disobey him basically to die and hang in cages. So now that they have their ally who can guide them, the way this board will end is they're going to hear more hordes of undead creatures coming towards them, but this time a massive amount, basically unfightable. And that will lead them to have to escape the Cursed Crossroads, which will be the next video on how they get out of this burning village. One last thing, when I played with my group, I did add a little treasure. I know I mentioned that this place they won't find much in regards to treasure. However, I also, if you feel the need, I added the immovable rod just because I made this cool little mini. I put it in this ring of fire. If they do notice it or if they investigate in any sort, I'd maybe throw them that bone. But if they want to get it, they have to make a check of some kind to avoid fire damage or some other creative way to remove it. Of course, it's immovable unless you press the button on it. So that's just an extra little risk-reward treat, and maybe it'll come into more play as the campaign goes on. But that's about as much as I would ever give them, in a sense, now that they've made it to the Infernal Plane. So, with that being said, we'll find out what happens to Captain Beardo, Gutrod, Herbie, and Fievel and their new pal, Cain, in the next episodes as they depart from the swarms that are basically coming from all directions. And even at this point, on the wind, I would even have the cackling of the herald echo across the village as just another little poke at the players. The herald is the connection and is going to be antagonizing them the whole way through this game. So if you want to drop that little seed in there too, that's perfect. But that's it for now. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. We'll continue with the journey to the Infernal Plane next time And if you like what you watched, please like, subscribe. It helps us make more and more content and keep improving. So really appreciate it. And until next time, remember, all D&D, all day long, all night till dawn.